Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution Sunday edition. No Bears game today. That's a bummer. No Bears game. So football Sunday, I'll just have some games on in the background. Won't be paying too much attention. Today we're going to review the Rockford Card Show. Rockford yesterday. I was excited to get back. I always do well at the Rockford Card Show. And the thing is, I got to tell Mike and John, like, keep doing these shows because I do really well. So it's a little selfish on my part, both sales-wise and if I don't have a good sales day, typically I get good buys. Now, that wasn't the case. Well, I had a really good sales day yesterday. Did not have a good buy day, which is okay. Perfect scenario because I'm going to be in Chicago next weekend, next Saturday for the Sports Spectacular. I'll have even more cash because I had a good day yesterday. Gives me a little more cash for next Saturday. Spectacular. So I'll be there, the Rosemont Donald Stevens Convention Center. So actually yesterday worked out to be perfect. I spent $8 at the card show. So I was, even though I don't like I bought 4 cards, 1 for my personal collection, 3. So basically the $8 I spent is basically a push, because the 3 cards that I sell will probably net me $8. And so my Christian Hernandez Leaf Auto numbered out of 5 that I got for $5. It's going to be free to me. So that was all I bought. So that's what I bought yesterday. Rockford Card Show. Christian Hernandez Thrillers. I have the numbered out of 2 auto. Now I have the numbered out of 5. Thing is with Leaf, now that I'm on Trading Card Database, Leaf, man, I used to be a fan of Leaf until I saw the checklist on Trading Card. It's like, all right, Leaf sucks. But I do like some of their cards. So I picked up the Christian Hernandez Thrillers autograph from Leaf out of 5 for $5 out of a $5 box. And then these are from 5-Star Cards, which, by the way, are a show sponsor for the upcoming Madison Card Show, which is Saturday, November 25th. The weekend of Thanksgiving. So 5-Star Cards, take your cards, get them graded, not in person, but they are a group subber. So you can take them in and they will send them in for you and all that good stuff. That's where I've subbed a bunch of my PC Cubs stuff for SGC. See Matt at 5-Star Cards. I see him for the bargain boxes. So yesterday I was digging through his dollar boxes, his $5 boxes, just pulled out the $5 Christian Hernandez. And I pulled out $3 cards. One was, I don't have them on me. They're still in my car, I think. One was a Bowman Mega Box insert numbered out of 250 of Matt McLean from the Reds. I think that'll sell for $5. I pulled a first Bowman Chrome Spencer Steer, so it was like a Reds day. And I think that'll sell for about $5. And what was the third card I picked out of the dollar box? There was one more card. I can't remember. There was a third card that I think, it was an autograph. It was, I think it was an Angels rookie autograph from Topps Chrome, which are basically $5 cards. So I think after it's all said and done, I'll sell them for $5 a piece. I'll net roughly $8 to $10. And my Christian Hernandez ended up being free. So that's all. I dug through some other boxes. John, one of the promoters, had some good stuff in his quarter boxes. Kind of the stuff what I was looking for, and I'm sure he would have gave me a deal, but it was like the end of the day, and I'm like, yeah, there were like maybe a dozen or so cards, and it's like I could have, some names that I can sell for 20 cents, but it's like I'm not going to dig through a quarter box for cards that I know I can sell for 20 cents. But that's the idea of, if I can find enough of them, I'll get the bulk discount. Maybe I can get them for 15 cents. And I'm making a bunch of nickels, right? Somebody else had some similar, they might have been in like a 50-cent box. So some players I'm targeting in dime and quarter boxes. Others I'm targeting in, dollar, depending on who the player is. So I dug through some bargain boxes. John Boomer, who sets up at my shows as well, he had some nice $5 Cubs autos that I wanted to add to my PC. Hopefully he'll still have them in a couple weeks. I think he's going to be in Madison in November. I can't remember if he's going to be there or not, but I'll see him at another show. So if he still has them, it's not like they're hot ticket items. They're basically $5 cards. So hopefully he will have. Jennings, the card shop in Freeport, was set up across from me, so that's always good. I looked through, didn't really find anything that caught my eye. Typically, what I've noticed with his bargain box spread, he'll bring showcases and some bargain boxes, but he brings like the good showcase stuff. That's kind of the priority at the smaller shows. He'll be in Chicago at the Spectacular next weekend. He'll probably have some really good bargain boxes. And that's something I noticed yesterday with a couple different dealers. And at first it caught me off guard. Some of the dealers said, I'm not, I've got my good stuff back here. I'm saving it for Chicago. And I heard a couple dealers say that. And at first I'm thinking, why would you do that? Don't you want to sell it now? But I've done that. I did that with my bargain boxes heading into the 2-day show in Loves Park. Because I was, if it's a monthly show, like my, say it was Madison the week before, 2 weeks before, it's like, I don't want to have, because sometimes at the end of the day, you give better discounts, right? I don't want to do that. I want to save it because I'm going to have, hopefully more customers at the big show. So after I thought about it, I'm like, okay, that does make a lot of sense. Okay, I get it. So a good card show. We'll talk more about it. We'll dive into the chat as well. Got home, had and Bronco was there. So thanks to Bronco, he hung out at my tables for quite a while. He was like, so are you going to the football game? So my alma mater, Anawan Wethersfield played at Lena Winslow, who are the number 1 ranked team in Class 1A in the state quarterfinals yesterday afternoon. Lena's about 40 minutes from Rockford. So I thought, well, depending on how the show goes, it might be slow. Everybody's burned out. Everybody on YouTube says they got hobby burnout. So maybe that's trickling down. Maybe everybody's just burned out. So maybe I'm going to be slow in the afternoon. And so maybe I'll get out a little early. Kickoff was 2:00. If it starts slowing down, 2:00, I'll drive over, get there at halftime or whatever. But then we ended up going out to dinner with some friends that are actually moving out to Arizona next month. So kind of one of the last hurrahs that we're going to be able to hang out with them. So we had reservations. Plus it was freaking cold yesterday. It was like 40 degrees. I'm like, I'm not sitting out watching my team get pummeled, because I expected, I'm like, they're going to lose 40-0. So I had it on the video on, and I'm like, shit. It was 0-0 like at the end of the first quarter. I'm like, wow, this is already a win in my book. And then Lena Winslow scored and went up and got the 2-point. It was 8-0. Then they did it again. It was 16-0, I think, at halftime. Might have even been 24-0 at halftime, but I think 30-0 was the final score. So I joked to Bronco, I'm like, they're probably going to lose 40-0, and they were down, 16-0 at halftime. I'm like, hey, it's better than I expected, but there's still a possibility they lose 40-0. And so it was 30-0. So Lena Winslow moves on to the Final Four in the Class 1A playoffs. I'm not sure. Now I won't pay attention now. So I've got to make sure to end my subscription to the National High School Sports Network, because that's where I would watch some of the Friday night games. It's like $10 a month or something. So got to save that because I just subscribe to ESPN Plus. So that's where my money shifts from NFHS to ESPN Plus. So we went to dinner last night. So here's the problem I run into. At card shows, I typically don't eat. Like I'll eat like a breakfast bar. I'll have my Dunkin', and then I'll have a breakfast bar around lunchtime, and then it's like end of the show, and usually you're running on like just adrenaline, right? You're excited. You're at a card show. You're shopping. You're selling. You're buying. You're trading. It's exciting. You don't think about eating. Then all of a sudden, all of that adrenaline withers away. You pack up. You get in your car, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh shit, I'm hungry. And then all of a sudden, it's like you go from not hungry at all to I'm the most starving man in the world. And so that's that's not really what happened, but I was a little hungry. So I'm like, I got to eat something. It's only 3:00. Our reservations are at 6:30. We're not going to eat until 7:30. Like I can't go another 4.5 hours. I'll be hangry. I will not be a fun friend. So I hit the McDonald's. Actually, before I hit the McDonald's drive-thru, there's a Target like right across the street. So I'm like, I'm going to go see if they have Topps Archives. I want Topps Archives. But I saw actually when I was making the rounds this week, I saw these. And I didn't think anything of it because I don't buy basketball. Forgot that's Bronny James, right? Oh, that's the Bronny James product. So I wanted to get a couple blasters just to chase Bronny James, okay? And this is not I do not recommend buying blasters of Topps Chrome McDonald's to flip and try to make money. This was this was strictly entertainment. I did pull a Bronny James base Chrome in the first pack. It's in my eBay store. Nobody's bought it yet. So I do not recommend this unless you actually enjoy the rip. I enjoyed the rip. I bought 2 blasters. As you see, one's not opened yet. I opened one on the couch when I got home, pulled the Bronny James. My wife had Grumpy Old Men. The fireplace was going. Grumpy Old Men was on TV. It's like, this is comfy. Do we have to go out to dinner tonight? This is comfy. I got my Spotted Cow, my basketball blaster box, and Bronny James. I'm good to go. So got the other one. By the way, Grumpy Old Men, one of the greatest movies ever made. The old man, it'd be Jack Lemmon's father in the movie, in the first one. I think he dies. He either dies in that movie or in the second movie, but he makes that movie, man. I think it was Grumpier Old Men, because oh my God, my dad, that was his like probably favorite movie of all time. And we went into the theaters and saw Grumpier Old Men. Grumpier Old Men, which was, of course, sequels typically aren't, Grumpy Old Men, phenomenal. Grumpier Old Men, it's good. Certainly not as good as the first. So I opened my basketball blasters while Grumpy Old Men was playing in the background. We went to Cafe Hollander. We couldn't get reservations at Cafe Hollander, which I love. Unfortunately, they have such a big beer menu. It's intimidating. And it's like, normally I have an idea. Like, it's almost like if you're of my age and you grew up with, of course, my age, you grew up with cable unless you were poor like me. We didn't have cable. We had cable when I was like really young. And then I think as I like got old enough to like, oh shit, my parents have to like, spend more money on me as I grow up. Less money for cable TV. Because we had cable TV. We even had like HBO or Showtime when I was really little. But then by the time I was like 5 or 6, which I guess is really little, but 5 or 6, no cable. Where was I going with this story? Cable TV, growing up with cable TV. So I grew up with 4 channels, 4, 6, 8, and 18, which was KLJB, Fox, and then of course PBS and all the bullshit that has. So basically 4 channels, right? So I grew up with 4 channels, and it's like, man, wouldn't it be great to have cable TV? It's like, you look at the TV guide. It was like the TV guide as a kid without cable is like the wish book. It's like, I'd look at prime. Oh, it's Wednesday night at 7 p.m. If I had cable, I'd be watching this. Oh, or this. There's like 4 different things I could watch. I only have 4 options right now. And if it's a presidential address, I'm out. There's nothing on TV. Now, the more options we have, the less we watch. I spend more time looking for something to watch than I do actually watching something, because now I just don't have cable. I have YouTube TV, which is basically cable. And then I can go, well, if it's baseball season, I've got MLB, so I can watch any baseball game I want. I've got Amazon Prime. I can go through that. I can go to Hulu. I can go to fucking Disney and ESPN Plus and whatever. Netflix. And here I am. I can't find anything to watch. And then you got free like Tubi and Pluto. Like, they have great stuff. Like, if you like cheesy stuff, I love cheesy stuff. But I spend more time looking for something to watch. Where was I going with this? I have no idea. I can't remember how I got off on that tangent. Options. Oh, beer. That's where so that, my friends, is why I'm intimidated by the Cafe Hollander beer list. There's just too many options. I spend more time looking for a beer than I do drinking the actual beer that I order. So it's too big. It's too large of a menu. I just want to know what's on tap. I just want something on tap. Of course, there's like 60 beers on tap or 75 beers on tap or 125 beers. I think it's like the largest tap in Madison. I don't know. I found something quick. What did I have? I can't even pronounce it. I did the country bumpkin. When you're in a fancy restaurant, you can't pronounce. I'd like this. The St. Fiverness, whatever. It's a good, okay beer. I think it's a blonde. So that's what I had. And I had the, so after the card show, I'm hungry. I hit the McDonald's drive-thru. I have a couple cheeseburgers. Speaking of, we're going off on another tangent. I had the most awkward experience at the McDonald's drive-thru. I want to blame them, but I think a lot of the blame goes on me, okay? I go into the McDonald's drive-thru, which is busy by 3 o'clock. Why is McDonald's drive-thru busy at 3 o'clock? So I pull in and I order. So I had, typically when I get McDonald's, it's a Coke. I get a Coke. McDonald's Coke. That's what you get. That's what you get at McDonald's, a Coke. I had a Pepsi earlier in the day. I did not want, and I know all the soft drinks probably have sugar, but I wanted something with probably less sugar, less caffeine. I had 2 large coffees in the morning. I had a 20 ounce or 17 ounce. I think they cut it back. 17 ounce Pepsi. Like, I'm good with caffeine. I don't need any more caffeine. The McDonald's menu doesn't have their soft drink menu. And I call it a soft drink because that was what was on the menu. Normally I call it a pop. Sometimes I say soda. So I pull up. I know I want the 2 cheeseburger meal because it's kind of light, not hungry-ish. I just need something to tide me over until 7:30. Okay? So I go up to the menu. Will you be using the mobile app? No. Just ask me what I want. Maybe I should have, because I could have found the frickin' soft drink menu. There's no soft drink menu. I don't want a Coke. I don't know what else McDonald's has. Do they have Powerade still? I would have went with Powerade. But I don't know if they have Powerade. Because I don't want to spend all this time I'll take two cheeseburger meal with a Powerade. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have Powerade. Oh, okay, Sprite. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have Sprite. I couldn't remember if Starry was the new Sprite or the new Sierra Mist. Now I remember it's Sierra Mist. But I'm like, what? Okay, I'm taking the blame for how I worded this question. McDonald's drive-thru, I don't know what kind of pop they have. I don't want a Coke. When I told my wife this story driving to the restaurant last night, she goes, a Coke. I'm like, I didn't want a Coke. Why not? Because I had a Pepsi. I don't want a Coke after having a Pepsi just 2 hours prior. So I said at the drive-thru, what flavors of soft drink do you have? Now, in hindsight, I realize that's a bizarre question, right? What flavor of soft drink? My wife said the same, telling my wife. And she goes, what flavor of soft drink? That's a weird question. I know. It's like my dad talking about eating places. Did you go to the picture show? Like, my dad actually said the words picture show for the movies when I was in high school. Go out with some friends. We'd go see Titanic. What picture show did you go see last night? My mom would laugh. My mom was quite a bit younger than my dad. Picture show? Eating place? Flavored soft drinks? Who are you? I realize in hindsight that's a bizarre question to ask. What flavors of soft drink? Of course, the girl who was working the drive-thru, probably 16, thought the same. And she's like, what? So she said, small, medium, or large. Like, no shit. I know what size they are. I didn't say that. So my initial question, what flavors of soft drink do you have? And she goes, small, medium, or large. And I go, no. What flavors of soft drink, like pop? What types of pop do you have? And then that was like word salad overload for the girl working the drive-through. And she goes, wait, what? You're using too many words. Kids these days, you're using too many words? Okay, I understand. My first question was old-timey grandpa. Great grandpa, probably for her. And I'm like, Pop, what type of pop do you have? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, da-da-da, rattles them off. I'm like, okay, I heard Sprite in there. Okay, we'll go with a Sprite. Okay, now it gets more weird. You think that's bad. I pull around to the window. Okay, I pay. I go to the window. It's a dude who looks like he just got baked, right? I mean, he's got the freaking I'm stoned out of my ass eyes going on. Which it's legal in Illinois, by the way. So he might have hit up the dispensary and went to work. So I pull up, and it's like taking forever, which is probably a good thing in a drive-thru. It means they're not just using old hamburgers that have been sitting on the warmer. They're probably having to actually make them or whatever. So it's taken a long time. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what's going on in there? So Stoner opens the window, and he goes, hands me the bag. And so again, I'm going to take partial blame for this because he's handing me the bag and I'm not really paying attention because my expectation of this whole transaction is he's going to hand me my bag of food. I put it down on the seat. I turn back around. He's going to have my Sprite for me. Boom. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. I'm on my way. That did not happen. I get my bag and then all I hear is thank you. And I look at him and I'm like, oh, I still need my pop. I'm like, shit, here we go again. Fucking pop. I'm like, I still need my pop. And he goes, and again, and he just kind of has this like weird ass look on his face. I think they were fucking with me. Like, oh, this is the guy, flavored soft drink guy. They're probably sleeping right now. They're going to laugh about it later today. Remember that flavored soft drink guy? What a dork. Again, he says like, thank you. And I go, no, you haven't given me my Sprite. I even looked in the fucking bag. Nope, you didn't put the Sprite in my bag. I'm like, you didn't? No, I haven't got my Sprite. And then he goes, oh, I'm sorry. We don't have mediums, only smalls. I'm like, give me two of them then, right? And I'm like, so you're not going to give me a pop? And he goes, and then he like slows it down for me. Duh. He goes, pull ahead to the thank you. Oh, like I swear to God, he only said thank you. He did not say pull ahead to the thank you on the concrete. So I pulled up. They got their mediums working. I got my Sprite. I got the hell out of there. I'm probably never going back to that McDonald's again because it was such a pain in the ass. Just for a fucking pop. Or, as I initially called it, a flavored soft drink. That was the most bizarre experience ever. My wife puts the blame on me. Except for the second part. That was just weird. Second part was weird. So last night, Cafe Hollander, I get my beer. It was a much more pleasant experience at Cafe Hollander than it was at the McDonald's. Since I had the McDonald's, I wasn't that hungry, so I ordered a wrap. I only ate half of it. So, hey, now I have lunch today. Bacon, avocado, chicken ranch, or whatever the hell it was. It was good. And I had the beer that I couldn't pronounce. I just pointed at it like I'm in Europe and I can't speak the language. I'll have that. So that was my awkward experiences yesterday. By the way, there was a card show yesterday, so I talked a little bit about it at the beginning. I had the best. We're in. I'm just going to briefly recap, and then we'll get to the chat, and then we'll start talking card show stuff. I went and I think I said my goal was my target. Not really goal. My goal is to make as much money as I can. So I really don't have a goal. I have a target. So my target was $200 to $300. Remember, I'm doing dime boxes. I also had some dollar boxes, and I also had some supplies. I did not replenish the dollar boxes, but this was a new show with a pretty different crowd than what I see in Madison and in Janesville. So didn't really need to replenish. There was still enough good stuff. And I actually made quite a few sales out of the dollar boxes. My supply order came in on Friday, so I had plenty of supplies. I didn't really sell too many until towards the end, but I did make some sales on supplies. I sold quite a few dollar boxes. I made brand new fill-a-box for the dime cards. I sold a ton of dime cards. So my target going in was $200 to $300. I think I said the other day, if I do 200, I'll be a little disappointed. If I do 300, I'll be really happy. I did nearly 400. So I'm very happy with the results on the sales at yesterday's Rockford Card Show. Again, as a buyer, there wasn't much for me to buy. I spent $8. And basically, I'm going to break even, but I'm going to get a free Cubs card out of it because I bought 4 cards for $8. One of the cards was $5. That was the Cubs card. And Christian Hernandez autograph number /5. And 3 cards that'll sell for about $5 a piece. So my net profit, I might make $1 or $2 and a free card. So, but that's good because I'm going to be in Chicago next weekend, the Sports Spectacular in Rosemont. I'll be there next Saturday. So I don't think I will go live next Saturday morning because I'm going to leave pretty early. I think the doors open at 9:30 or 10. I think 9:30 is for VIPs. I'm not spending the money for that. I think so 10 o'clock. If I leave here at 7:30, that'll get me there with time to park and walk. So if I leave here at 7:30, so I don't want to go on that early on a Saturday. So yeah. So let's go to the chat real quick. Dave's in the house. What's up, Dave? Good morning to you. Donald's here. Good morning. Turkey Cards. What's happening? Sal Dougie. Good morning. He's checking in from, I'm gonna butcher this. I'm not familiar. I am familiar, but I'm not familiar with the pronunciation of Veracqua. Is that pronunciation? Is that pronunciation correct? Veracqua. SoCal Guy 1967 in the house. Evan is here. Good morning. Finally able to see an episode. Welcome to the live chat. Awesome. T206 Kid in Louisville. Had a great show here yesterday. Bargain bin hunting. Love it. Found a Michael Jordan 97 Topps in Fuego insert for $10. Close to a $100 card. Nice. Those are fun wins. Kyle's in the house. What's up, Kyle? T206 Kid says hobby burnout is fine with me. Better deals. Exactly. A lot of people are talking about hobby burnout. This is like the most exciting time of year for me. Even though sales like on eBay are a little slower, I had a great sales day at the card. There was no sense of burnout at the card show. Energy was great yesterday. I love doing card shows because it gets me out of the house and around people because that's not what I do 6 days a week. I'm in the basement, so it's nice to get out and talk to people. Energy was good at yesterday's card show. And yeah, when people are burned out and not buying, that just that enables us buyers to buy more and buy more at lesser prices. When everybody's like thriving and energized, they're all buying. There's not deals to be had. Now there's deals to be had. So enjoy it. Take advantage. Mark, what's up? Good morning. Sorting 5,000 1981 Topps baseball into sets while watching Hobby Evolution. Perfect Sunday morning. That sounds fun. 5,081 Topps. Uncle Rich, good morning. He is not experiencing burnout. Cranking on adding player links to the ComC database and listening to Bowen right in time for the food talk. Unfortunately, it was McDonald's food talk, but hey. Cheeseburger. I always say that any box for $20 or so is a reasonable priced gamble because it's low risk and usually low reward, but at times you get a winner. Absolutely. And that's the thing about blaster boxes is, this is 20. Some are 25 now. Top stuff is usually 25 for a blaster, which I think is still a good deal for blaster boxes. Now you're getting, how many cards are in this particular box? 28 total cards. So you're paying about $1 a card for these, but you get a couple refractors, a couple ray waves. Hopefully the Bronny James sells for $10. That pays for, a third of the blaster after fees and stuff. So list the other stuff. And are you going to make money? Probably not, but you can offset some of that price. For me, this was entertainment. Like, I went in knowing that I might only make $5 off this $25 blaster. It was just strictly, I'm interested in opening this product to see what it yields. Same with Topps Archives. Like I'm jonesing for some Topps Archives. Didn't find any. Nobody had any at the show yesterday. There wasn't much wax there. No hobby, but I wasn't in the market for a hobby. Hobby's like $170, I think. It's like, I'm not going to buy a hobby box. And I've never been a big fan of Topps Archives hobby anyway. Dogecoin is at 8 cents. There is your crypto update for today. Uncle Rich says that is called the paralysis of choice. As you noted, too many options can cause you not to make a decision. Yes, that's what we're experiencing with television. Too many options and too many menu items. Fortunately, the Cafe Hollander dinner menu is pretty small. Their freaking beer menu is like 100 pages. Their dinner menu is like front and back of one page. Burgers, wraps, and the appetizers. That's about it. And salads, which is good. I would prefer a restaurant with fewer. Means they're more specialized. You go to Applebee's or whatever, and they don't specialize in anything. They just serve everything. You have options, but it's like, Jesus, I don't know what I want. Do I want the steak? Do I want the chicken? Do I want the freaking whatever else they have? Grinding for good. Happy Sunday. Low Roller wants to know, how was your dime card show? So like I said, I did better than expected. My target was 200 to 300. I made almost 400 selling dime cards. So now some of that money went into, I made from supplies. I sold dollar cards as well. Dime cards, I probably sold probably $100, $100 to $125 worth of dime cards. I'm trying to think, I can probably look at my transactions. Let's see. So I track everything in Google Sheets. Makes it easier for tax time. So I did 30 transactions yesterday, which is about at 30 is right around average on my transactions for one of these monthly card shows. So let's see. So 30, 31, 51, 71, 91, 101, 103, 143, 143, 183. Oh, wow. 183, 93, 203, 213. Oh, I made almost $220 on dime cards. So that was significantly more than I thought. So over $200 in dime cards alone, plus another $200 in dollar cards and in supplies. So of course the supplies isn't like the dime cards. Well, I did buy all those dime cards. So there is a price attached to those, but the supplies, the margin's much smaller. So that wasn't pure profit. Uncle Rich says it's why diners give you or used to give you 20-page menus. So you just ordered a cheeseburger. Yeah, right? You go in, you spend a half an hour looking at the menu, and I'll just have a cheeseburger and fries. Uncle Rich says our like percent is decent, but could use a boost. And subscribe because, as you notice, Bo talks about life things, not hobby things. Thank you, Uncle Rich. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. How much is a Big Mac combo in your area? I have no idea. I rarely order the Big Mac combo. I don't even know how much the double cheeseburger. I can tell you, or not double cheeseburger, the 2 cheeseburger meal, what I spend on the 2 cheeseburger meal. Let's see if I can find it. Is it going to be in here? Should be. My 2 cheeseburger meal was $8.77. Holy shit. 2 cheeseburger meal, $8.77. Remember back in the day, you could get 2 double cheeseburgers for $2. I know that was like 20 years ago, but Almost $9 for a 2 cheeseburger meal. And that's the medium. That's not like large or supersized. That's 2 cheeseburgers, a medium fried, a medium flavored soft drink. In my instance, a Sprite. $8.77. I don't know about Big Mac, but I'm sure it's probably $10, $12. Good morning, Double A Cards. What's up? Raphael in the house. Good morning. Kyle's here. The more stories you tell about him, the more I think your dad was my kind of guy. Oh, yeah. Hey, he loved NASCAR. He loved going to dirt track races, loved his NASCAR. He did get to go. My brother owns a plumbing and heating business, and I think they were, I don't know, somehow they got some, he would get kickback from DuPont. And this was back when Jeff Gordon was in the DuPont car. And so they would go to Chicago Speedway or whatever it's called. And they'd go, and I was pretty, I mean, this is I was in like junior high school. So I was not of age. If I was 21, I probably would have went just to drink a lot of beer, because that's mainly what they did. Just get drunk, watch some NASCAR, and they got to go back in the pit area or whatever with DuPont. My dad would get DuPont gear. Yep. Let's see. Evan says McDonald's employees are slow. English is hard for people. The correct question is, what types of soda or pop do you have? And that's in when I told my wife this story, she said the same thing. She goes, why wouldn't you just say, what types of pop do you have? And I'm like, I don't know, because I was suffering from menu paralysis, because all of a sudden when you pull up to the drive-through, like McDonald's is easy because we all know, except for me and what types of pop they have, what's on a McDonald's menu. It's just deciding what you want that particular day. Like the menu rarely changes unless they put the McRib back on the menu. So we typically know going in, we don't have to like look at the menu, but think about going to a drive-through that you've never been to before or you're not familiar with. It's like, oh man. That's why I always go to drive-throughs that I'm familiar with. By now I'm familiar with most of them. But I got a sneeze coming on. Oh man, excuse me. But if you go to a drive-through, now I'm eye-watering. Look at that. I look like the stoner kid at McDonald's now. But if you pull up to a drive-through that you're not familiar with on the menu, and all of a sudden you get paralyzed from the figuring out what you want. Oh my God. Or you don't know how to order. So I don't like going to Chipotle. I really don't like Chipotle food anyway, but it's like, what's the process? I just know McDonald's is easy, except when I'm trying to order a flavored soft drink. Cooter's in the house. What's up? The Italia hat needs a good cleaning. Yeah, actually, it's not too bad. Actually, this is fairly clean for this Italia hat. I think it's the white hats actually stay cleaner than my black hats. Like my black SGC hat I haven't worn in a while because it needs a good cleaning, but the black hats show the sweat. Like this is just like dirt. My black hats show all the sweat, so it's like white sweat stains. I'm going to have to get up and blow my nose. Uncle Rich says the problem is some of the self-serve drinks and Mickey D's give you flavor choices. Jack Thomas. Jack Thomas was the name of our president at Western Illinois University when I was there. President Jack Thomas. Jack Thomas, I don't think you are President Jack Thomas. How many eBay listings can you upload in an hour? Good question. It varies depending on what I'm doing. Here's kind of the breakdown. If I'm listing from my phone, Topps Chrome, I can do about, I don't know, 30 an hour, 40 an hour. If I use just File Exchange, just a spreadsheet on its own, I can do about 120. Using Car Dealer Pro, it varies from 200 to up to 1,000. You know, if it's a bunch of 1986 commons, the AI recognizes it right away. and I could do 1,000. I'm not going to do that because they're not going to sell. But the more base I have, the easier the AI, the less work I have to do. So it really varies. But typically when I list, I'm either doing it from my phone or using Card Dealer Pro. I'd say on average, it's Card Dealer Pro on average, probably 400 an hour. Because I'm pretty fast when I have to update, and I know what I'm uploading that it's going to recognize or not recognize. So I'd say probably 400 an hour is the average using Card Dealer Pro. Let's see. You heard McDonald's trying to get rid of self-drinking. Self-drinking? What the hell does that mean? Oh, self-serve drinking. Probably because it takes up money to fix those machines, I would assume. Uncle Rich says he's with my wife on this one. That is 100% on you. It's a Bo problem, not a McDonald's problem. Hey, I was taking partial responsibility. Garrett says a grown man asking what flavor soft drinks do you have is probably just as bad as a grown man asking to do a trade-up challenge. Just go away. Thank you. Thank you. The trade-up challenge is annoying as hell. But, an adult started that, like way back, 25 years ago? The red paperclip, like it was an adult dude. I don't know why all of a sudden it's now a kid's thing. I mean, I don't know. But it's annoying. It doesn't matter if it's a kid or an adult. I think it's annoying. Let's see. Low Roller says just order McDonald's curbside next time. Those McWorkers for sure spent the rest of their shift calling drinks flavored soft drinks. Oh yeah. Rockford, Illinois. There's gonna be a group of teenagers or young adults in Rockford, Illinois that are laughing at the old boomer calling them flavored soft drinks. Do you penny sleeve your dime cards? No. Well, if they're already penny sleeved, I just put them in a box, but no. I don't even penny sleeve my quarter cards. If they're not penny sleeved, they just go in a box. Christian, what's up? Good morning. Zach and Porter in the house. What's up? Hall of Fame card collector here. I opened a box of NPB Chrome and pulled a Yamamoto base, a red of 5 refractor, an orange of 25, and a gold of 50. All of Yamamoto? You just won the lottery if that's the case. Or just those are the other hits. But shit, a red refractor of 5 of anybody is a great hit. I've got so I ended up ordering the 2022 Topps Chrome NPB. They also had the 2021, but those were I think 100. What was mine? $60 a box, and the 2021 I think was $100 a box. And the 2021, although the 2022 has good value based on what I was looking at on eBay solds. They have some of the 2021. The Walgreens just down the street from me has some of those repacks that maybe later today, if I leave the house, maybe I'll hit it up. I thought about doing that yesterday afternoon, but it was getting close to when I had to be home anyway for dinner. So Evan says Shane got a morning job now. Where's Shane got a morning job? Christian, good morning. Go Lions picked off a jumbo bat card off the Cecil Fielder want list yesterday. What is hobby burnout? Been here since 1980. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I had in a private chat, I talked about this, and I get burnout. Like, I think we all get burnout. It's just the timing of all of these YouTube videos and these tweets about burnout. It's coming at it's almost like it's not burnout from the hobby. It's burnout from not making sales, not getting likes on videos or watching hours on videos because less people are consuming content, less people are buying your card, less people are liking your tweets and all that stuff. My burnout has nothing to do with that. My burnout has to do with I'm in my basement day and night. Like, I don't have a hobby. Like, cards are also my hobby. So sometimes if I don't see other human beings for a week or two, I get burned out. But it's just because I need to step away and get a hobby or something. So we'll see how winter, and this will be my third winter of doing this full time. So, but now this is my first winter in this space. So it's, little more efficient, happier. So we'll see. Low Roller said, I sold a hockey card. I sure did. Slow on those hockey sales. Let's see. Uncle Rich says, oh, and please push the Secret Santa gift exchange. We do need more people to join. Hit up the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. We do a Secret Santa gift exchange. Join Hobby Evolution Facebook group. Or Uncle Rich, can you drop your email in the chat? Because I think somebody was asking about that in the chat the other day, and I don't think you were with us in the live chat. So if you can, drop your email for anybody that wants to join the Secret Santa gift exchange. Email Rich or join the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. Just type in Hobby Evolution on Facebook, and there's a post in there about that. So our Couch People Christmas party is about a month away, Saturday, December 16th. We'll start it at about 7 p.m. Central Time. I'll have plenty to talk about because I'll have been set up at a card show down in St. Charles, Illinois earlier that day. So Couch People Christmas party, Saturday, December 16th. Join Hobby Evolution Facebook group or email Rich if you're interested in a Secret Santa gift exchange. We keep it at like what, $20, I think. And basically Uncle Rich will give you a person that you're buying for with what they collect. You spend whatever amount, and then you send it to you'll get the address of the person, and then you send it directly to your partner in the gift exchange, and then we can do a reveal on Saturday, December 16th. You don't have to wait until December 16th to open your gift and do it on camera. You can do it off camera. You can do it off camera and then show it off during the Christmas party, however you want to roll. So there you go. Hall of Fame card collector, add me. There you go. I think you're in the Facebook group. So I think there's a thread on Facebook about it. So Jody, what's up? Jody, by the way, I hope you are okay with me telling this story, but fun story. Friday night, I get tagged in a post that somebody had pulled the Justin Steele Topps Archives autograph superfractor, which is a freaking not just the superfractor, but that auto in Topps Archives this year is a sweet card. Okay. So I've got some people, some diehard Cubs collectors. Like, I can probably find you a buyer for that. So I messaged the Cubs collector group I'm in, showed it off, was talking with one of the members. Like, I can hook you up. I was DMing with the actual guy who pulled it. It was his 8-year-old son. I think it was for his report. I don't know what it was, but his 8-year-old son pulled it. How cool is that? So he's like, he's super excited. And I'm like, well, if you're looking to sell or trade it, I can probably find you something. And he's like, we'll probably keep it for now, but we're not, we're Braves fans. And I'm like, okay, I know that the guy that's interested has some cool Braves stuff. And he's like, we'd actually probably be, if we did get rid of it, we'd probably rather have a trade than a cash deal. I'm like, oh, perfect. So I hooked those two up. I think they literally just pulled it. So I think they'll probably work out a trade in the future. Right now, I mean, I can imagine, like, I want to hang on to it. Like I would, I think, if I was an 8-year-old kid. Anyway, to the rest of this. Now the rest of the story. Apologies to Paul Harvey. Now the rest of the story. So in that moment, this is how I am. When people like ask if I'm interested in Cubs cards, usually I'm not. Usually I'm only buying when I'm looking. Like if somebody throws something at me and they're like, do you want this? I'm like, nah, I'm going to pass. If it's something that if it's like, if it's an Adon Sanchez first chrome auto of 5 or something, like, oh yeah, I need that. What do you want for it? If it's a price that I am cool with, I'll buy it. But I'm not the type of collector that has to have it. Like I'm not going to overpay for stuff. So I'm like, man, that Justin Steele auto, I need one in my collection. So I went to eBay and I'm looking around on eBay and there's only a few listed on eBay. And I think I don't know if they made a base version of this. But there was one that was priced at $30 or best offer. Like, I'm going to send a $20 offer and see. And it was accepted. Numbered out of 99, Justin Steele autograph from Topps Archives. I get a message. It's Jody. And he's like, hey, I'm sorry. I would have messaged you if I would have known you wanted it. And the thing is, if you would have messaged me whenever you pulled it or, 2 weeks ago or mentioned in the chat, I'm like, I'll pass. But it just, at that particular moment in time, that's how I buy it. Like, I'm usually not actively seeking out cards. It's just, if I see a card I like at a price I like and I'm in a buying mood, I'll buy it. So you could have reached out to me 2 weeks ago and I would have been like, no, thanks, I'll pass. But it just happened to be the right time, the right price, the right place. So thank you. Donald says Topps Holiday has short print and super short prints too. I think for the money you can get some good hits. I did get a Gunnar Henderson relic card. Hey, if you get a relic card, that's one of the guys you want. Gunnar Henderson, very cool. You should do a comparison. Purchase a $25 box and purchase $25 of singles at a card show, and then see what the return is over the next 30 days. That is a fun exercise, and I'll tell you, I can tell you right now, I know what the answer is going to be. Me cherry picking $25 worth of singles is going to be a better return. I can almost guarantee you. Unless you get lucky. If there's a Bronny James auto in this, then this is probably going to have a better return. I didn't buy this to make money. I bought this because I like opening packs. And I think and I know Cooter doesn't open packs. I didn't buy this to make money. I didn't buy this to flip 25 to make 50. I know if I go and dig through a dollar box and pull out 25 cards, I can sell those for more than what this $25 is going to yield me. This is entertainment. I am interested in this product, even though I don't like basketball. It's like the thrill of the chase for Bronny James. They're cool cards. This is purely entertainment. I know I'm not going to make my money on this. I know that. But I still like opening it. I like opening packs. You like buying vintage cards. I like opening packs. I just have to, I didn't go clear the shelves. I bought 2 of these. I didn't buy 20. You just have to keep it under control and not piss away. Like, I just spent $3,000 on wax to rip. The wax that I buy on Blowout, now the NPB, I think there's good return on that. Here's the other thing. I want to go back to Cooter's comment. Here's the other thing. Say I spent $600 on the NPB Chrome. What if I take $600 and go to a bargain boxes? Well, I don't think I've ever spent outside of the National, I don't think I've ever spent $600 out of bargain boxes. Now I can buy bargain boxes outright, but guess when you're buying bargain boxes? After they've been cherry picked. And the time it takes, in that case, I can probably make more money on the NPB Chrome than I can buying the bulk. So now $25 is a little easier. That's a better exercise because I can find $25 worth of bargain box cards at pretty much any card show. Well, I didn't yesterday. If I was focused on doing that, I probably could have. Yesterday, I don't know. The bargain boxes I dug through, I don't know if I would have had a better return. Of course, this box, I don't know what's inside. The box I opened last night, probably going to yield 25 gross, if that, 20 maybe. So I don't know, but this is not like a buy, but I do like the idea of, okay, hey, I bought a blaster. Now I bought the equivalent of singles, maybe next week, because next week is a big show. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go to one table and I'll take $25. Hey, this is the price of a blaster box. And people do that on Twitter all the time. Like, look what I got for the price of a blaster. But usually when I buy blasters, I'm not looking to flip them, although some I do. Bowman Platinum. What I do on Bowman Platinum, I made like $300 selling Bowman Platinum at release. If you get it, if the timing is right, it's easy money. And I can do it. I picked that up on a Thursday. I'm not going to go to a card show on a Thursday and do the same timing. It's also about timing. Where we at? Paul Carl's in the house. What's up? Good morning. Where we at? Zach and Porter says, Mike, what were your sales figures on ComC this week? Good sales. Yes, low roller scratcher. What were your ComC sales this week? Do you put minimum purchase on your dime cards? No, and I thought about that because once you get to a dime, if somebody only finds 3 or 4 cards, here's also the thing. If somebody only finds 3 or 4 cards, they're probably going to keep looking. They're not just going to say, here, I've got 40 cents. A friend of mine drove up like 2 hours to the show and didn't find me until the end. And he found 7 cards. And I'm like, dude, you drove 2 hours. It's the end of the show. You can have those. I think that was the only one that everybody else, I had to fill a box. I did most of the transactions. People filled a $30 or $40 box of dime cards. There were some where they'd have a pile. It's like, I got this many. Okay, $40, $20, whatever. But I didn't have to do a minimum. Sometimes with quarter cards, I'll have somebody find 2 or 3 cards, and it's just like, just keep them. Sometimes they'll give me $1, and I'm like, I don't have change. Like, it's fine. It's 3 cards. I'll pay $1 for these 3 cards. But with that said, I did take change yesterday. So I did have a few bucks in quarters, and I would have, if they bought 8 cards for 80 cents, they would have got a discount. I would have given them a quarter back. So I did not have a minimum. So you just deal with it. If somebody only wants 2 dime cards, they can have them, right? I don't need their 20 cents. Uncle Rich says McDonald's has a snack menu, which would have been perfect for your in-between meal. I didn't even realize that. I looked at the menu. I'm just like, I'll just get a couple cheeseburgers. And it was too much, like the 2 cheeseburgers and fries, because I wasn't hungry last night. I ate half my wrap and I had a couple fries. It's like, geez, I just ate fries 4 hours ago. Bink Scott, what's up? Good morning. We talking hobby burnout or YouTube burnout? Because views are down on some of these. It's just people are just burned out from. I think that's what it is. People aren't burned out from the hobby. People are burned out from not getting as many likes and views. People are not getting as much money on the flips. It's just funny how all of a sudden everybody has hobby burnout now. The timing is peculiar. It's not hobby burnout. It's view burnout and money burnout. That's what it is. Uncle Rich, this is why I like Bo's YouTube. He talks about life in the hobby, not just the hobby itself. And I try to keep it. That's what I like about it. That's why I like doing this show. I get to tell stories. This is my water cooler because I don't go to the office. I don't hang out at the water cooler talking about the game last night, talk about what I had for dinner last night, talk about the awkward exchange at McDonald's and my flavored soft drinks. But I can tell you. Christian says, looking for a large quantity of junk wax cards of players from Detroit, teams for a work project. There you go. Hit up Christian. Christian, drop wherever they can find you, whether it's email, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. McDonald's in Michigan have Verner's Ginger Ale. Interesting. I probably butchered that. Is it Vernor's? Verner's? I don't think we have any like regional. We're boring. Although you'd think there'd be like cheese curds on the menu. Culver's has that covered for fast food. Zach says, when people say hobby burnout, I think they should call it work burnout because a hobby shouldn't burn you out. That's a really good point. Should a hobby burn you out? No, a hobby is an escape. You're exactly right. Nobody should be burned out on a hobby. Nobody. The hobby is the escape from your burnout. You're burned out from work. You escape with your baseball cards. Baseball cards shouldn't be burning you out. If they are, find a new hobby. Now, I can get burned out because this is my job. Like, work's got me burned out. Baseball cards. So what do I escape with? My Cubs cards. So it's not the baseball. When I get burned out, it's not the baseball cards that burn me out. Baseball cards never burn me out. What burns me out is shipping and listing, listing and shipping. That's what burns me out. That's what burns me out. Zach nailed it. Comment of the day. Burnout, hobby should not cause you burnout. Too many people are confusing their hobby with other aspects of business. I completely agree. It has nothing to do with the cards. The burnout is you're just tired of doing YouTube videos. And that's okay. That's the thing. It's okay to be burned out from doing YouTube videos. You know, during the summer, and I think David mentioned this to me at the National. He's like, are you getting, I don't think he used the term burnout, but he's like, are you getting tired of doing your show? And it probably came across that I was, because I was burned out in general because of the move in the process of this house. And so it filtered in and seeped into my videos and my daily life, kind of like the job I hated. I hated my job, and it seeped into my personal life. And I'd come home just unhappy because I spent 8 hours, 9 hours just at a job I hated, just like at a dead end, right? Cards were my escape. It wasn't that I was actually, and it wasn't the videos. And videos, I think creating content can burn. I think creating content can burn you out, but that's not a hobby. That shouldn't be a hobby. I mean, if it's a hobby and it's burning you out, then stop doing it. And is it even a hobby? If, like Zach says, if it is a hobby, you're probably spending too much time with it. If you are burned out by baseball cards, you need a break. You need a break. And I think that says more about personality types than it does in general, right? How many people say they're burned out by playing golf? Oh, I'm so burned out by choosing to go to the golf course 3 times a week. Oh, I'm just so burned out playing golf. I'm so burned out fishing. Oh my God. We're weird fucking people in the hobby, aren't we? We are so weird. Is there another hobby? Does anybody in here have like another community of whether it's golfing or fishing or collecting stamps or comic books? I bet the comic book collectors, I bet they're a breed similar to us. I bet they're weird like us. Rich says, OTOH. What does OTH? Off the top of my head, I think that's what that means. You and I last year both suffered one of those paralysis moments. Yes, we did. The Power Breakfast Sandwich, still not back on the menu. It's been a couple years now. The Power Breakfast Sandwich, no longer on the Dunkin' menu. Now my go-to is the sausage, egg, and cheese on croissant. Croissant. And that's what I had yesterday. Sausage, egg, and cheese on croissant. Large coffee, 3 cream. I have to say hot coffee, even though it was 22 degrees when I left. When I was in the Dunkin' drive-thru. Hot coffee, 3 cream. Zach says, there are weeks I spend less time on my hobby, but that is because it's a hobby that I love and life can get in the way. Absolutely. 100%. Victor's in the house. What's up, Victor? Good morning. Paul says 100 per hour should be the bare minimum someone lists per hour. If you're doing quantity listings from the same set, adding thousands of cards per hour is possible. Value Box Digger, what's up? I know you were at a card show yesterday. Minnesota dealers were super disappointed. Some dealers made $5 2 hours into a show. Ouch. Promoters hurting the dealers here. A change has to happen here for sellers and buyers. So by the way, little context, Value Box Digger, well, she mentions in Minnesota, there were 4 shows yesterday within what? A 30-minute, hour drive within each other. We had quite a few shows. The shows in our region, Northern Illinois, Southern Wisconsin, were pretty spread out. There was a show in Mosinee yesterday in West Allis. So Mosinee, I think, is between, is that Oshkosh area? I'm not familiar. I'm still not familiar with my Wisconsin geography. Mosinee's up there somewhere. There's a show in West Allis, which is Milwaukee. I didn't hear too much about that one. I think Mosinee was a good show. My buddy Sheck puts that on. West Allis, which is Milwaukee. Of course, in Rockford, where I was yesterday, there were, I think, a couple shows in the suburbs. I think Darien or Bridgeview had a show. So we were pretty spread out in our area. It wasn't too saturated. Minnesota, pretty saturated yesterday. So that's interesting. So yeah, they'll find out. And here's what's going to happen is those dealers, they're like, well, they're going to probably go to the more established show, or eventually they're going to get phased out based on, okay, well, we did this show. If it sucked, we're going to try this show. And, eventually there's going to be a power struggle, and, the more established shows, the better promoted shows will come out on top. Let's see. Low Roller Scratcher, he's giving some investment advice, telling people to buy Dogecoin. Let's see. Joe Olivo, what's up? Good morning. What's the latest on the Car Dealer Pro update? Should be. So actually, I did have a Car Dealer Pro. I probably can't speak too much on it. So I did kind of a Q&A. So they basically wanted to get an idea, and I'm sure they had probably a couple conversations with different users about this. They wanted to basically, in some of the templates, how we create templates and how we're using, so their AI can recognize templates better in terms of what level of importance. So how do I make out a listing? So basically, let's use this from Free for All Friday, Mike Musina. So how do I list this Mike Musina? And they want to know. So I said, this is how I would list Mike Musina. I would list 1993 Fleer, 172 Mike Musina, Baltimore Orioles baseball card. So then the follow-up is, okay, what if there's 4 players on a card? And I said, well, that's where it gets tricky. And this is where it's going to vary by each individual user. Same as this. Some people will put Mike Musina, Baltimore Orioles, or they won't use baseball card. I said baseball card is very important. When grandma is looking for little Johnny a Mike Musina baseball card, what's grandma going to search? You got to think of it not in terms of your everyday collector. eBay attracts everybody. Even you'll sell cards to people that don't know a damn thing about cards. What are they looking for? What are they searching for on eBay? If little Johnny is a Mike Musina fan, what are they going to search? What's grandma going to search on eBay? Well, Johnny wants a Mike Musina baseball card. Mike Musina baseball card. So that's why I think it's important to put baseball card in titles. Now, anybody that's watching this video, are you going to search Mike Musina baseball card? No, but that's not who we're trying to attract. We will find a Mike. If we're looking for this card, we will find this card. We know what to look for. Grandma doesn't. So they were asking those types of questions. The update, I don't think it's, I think it's just an update. A lot of people are saying Car Dealer Pro 2.0. It's not 2.0. I'm not sure where that started. There was never like an official. A lot of people said, well, at the National, they had intended to show a future update at the National, but there were bugs. They were not releasing anything at the National. So I don't know where those rumors started. There was nothing scheduled to be released regarding any updates or Car Dealer Pro 2.0, wherever that came from. They were going to demonstrate a beta version of what was coming down the pipe or pike. Is it coming down the pipe or coming down the pike? I think either can probably work. So there is an update on the way. There's no timetable on the release. It is coming. It's not like flipping a light switch. There's a lot of, I'm learning as I speak with them. There's a lot that goes into it. So just be patient. If you're impatient, just stop using it. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. You have a choice. So that's all I got. Uncle Rich says $25. $25. So on the Secret Santa, $25. But if you go over, I won't object. Yeah. Just don't send your Secret Santa partner a pack of 1991 Fleer. Let's see. No, just the other hits of the 2022 Topps Chrome and PB. Very cool. Very cool. Value Box Digger. Also, I say that buyers need to change here because if promoters don't start working together, dealers will leave the card show scene, which will impact buyers' to lose shows. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the thing is, I can say this as a card show promoter and dealer. And I'm coming with this opinion at both sides of the spectrum. This isn't me. When I share my opinions, there's too many card shows. Now, if you're in Missoula, Montana, there's probably not too many card shows in Missoula, Montana. There's probably not too many card shows in Cheyenne, Wyoming. There's too many card shows where Jenny's at. There's too many card shows in my general area. Now, you can say that as an outsider looking in. You're just saying that because you're a promoter and you don't want the competition, or you're a dealer that sets up at XYZ card shows and you don't want competition at ABC card shows. Partially true, yes. That is partially true. However, it's also bad, just as Value Box Digger spells out. Because all of a sudden, if you have 4 card shows on one weekend and they all suck because they're all pulling away, and you're going to have a set of dealers that are going to go with this promoter, and another set of dealers that are, aligned, or whatever you want to term use, with this guy, that guy. They're all going to have their guys, right? And if they continue to compete, people that come to the shows, buyers, customers that come to the shows, this show sucks. There were 20 tables. There were 40 tables. They didn't have anything. The same stuff. There's nobody in there. And all of a sudden, the dealers that are set up, I only made $10. I'm not coming back to that show. And now their show goes from 40 tables to 20 tables. The customer gives it another shot next month. Well, last month there was 40 tables. It was okay show, but there's only 20 tables now because the dealers are like, I didn't do shit last month. And it's going to hurt. Oversaturation is not good. It's not good. Now, is there a time? Is there a place for some card shows? Sure. If 10 table card show local, it's okay. But the bigger the show, the more, then that's when, you start seeing these multi-day shows pop up, and they kind of suck. The Rockford 2-day show was not very good. The Peoria show, 3-day show, not very good. It's just, we've kind of jumped the shark on the multi-day shows. So now a lot of people aren't going to go set up at those shows if they continue to do them. Red Light 34, what's going on? He says, hit the like button. Thank you, sir. He's late, but he made it. How was the show? Our card show was a little slow here on Saturday. Ours was great. Traffic was a late. I haven't talked about this yet. And it's kind of what Rockford has always, what I've noticed about the monthly Rockford card shows, it's always a late arriving crowd. Madison, I've got a dozen people walking the floor at 7 or 7:30 in the morning, and it opens. We don't open. The show hours are set for 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Dozen people are walking around at 7 to 7:30. I'm always set up. You can come set up. If somebody doesn't want you looking at their stuff while they're setting up. I did have a couple early birds yesterday. I don't even think I had any of my boxes set up. One of my regular customers came up, and I'm like, I know he's always looking at football. I'm like, here's the football. So I opened a couple football boxes for him. James came up. I'm like, here's the baseball. And I was still setting up as they were digging through my boxes. I welcome it. Some people want to be fully set up before they accept customers. Not me. I will take your money. You can spend your money with me. If they don't want you to spend your money with them, come see me. I will gladly take your money before the show opens. Gladly. So I will make it work. So, but Rockford typically, and I noticed that at some of the first shows I did back when they started in 20, we both started right around the same time. That's why we've developed such a good relationship as promoters with each other, Mike, John, and I, because my show started in April. Their first Rockford show was in May. I set up at their May show, and then, we kind of started because we grew together. We grew together as card show promoters because none of us had promoted a card show before. So we were both starting from scratch at the same time. And so we've grown together and work really well together. And I noticed at those early Rockford shows, it's like 9:30, where's everybody at? And then all of a sudden, 10 o'clock, the room's full. And that's exactly what happened again yesterday. A later arriving crowd. But once it filled in at 10 o'clock, it was big. I mean, I had people at my table until 3. I had customers at my table all day. Sometimes there'd only be 1 or 2 people, but there were times where there wasn't a spot to get into my boxes. So crowd was great. Energy was up. Nobody was burned out in my eyes. I didn't sense any burnout. So people were having a good time. And I didn't hear anybody complain. Heard no complaints from other dealers when I was walking around just chatting. And I had a good day. Sales wise, buying wise, didn't buy much, but I sold more than I expected. Let's see. I got one of them boxes yesterday and I will not open it. Just let it set for years. There you go. And see, that's what I'm doing with 2022 Topps Chrome Update. It's a shitty product. 2022 Topps Chrome Update Baseball. It's a shitty product. It was $500 for the case. It's on a shelf. I sunk $500 into it to hopefully let it grow. Sometimes that pays off. Sometimes it doesn't. We'll see. It's a gamble. So we'll see. At the end of the day, that's what I love about cards and sealed wax. Like, yes, I spent $500 on a case of Topps Chrome Update that's going to sit on my shelf. Maybe next year, it's still $500 and I get an itch. Like, I might as well open it. I'll still make some money on that. I might only make $100, but I can still recoup some. It's not like a lottery ticket. It's not like low roller scratcher. He spends $2 on a lottery ticket, scratches it off. He throws it away. He just pissed away $2. Now I may lose money, but I'm still going to make something back. I'll make something back. Where we at? Hobby News Daily. What's up? The hobby burning hot here too. Hobby onward. Thanks for the great stories. You bet. Thanks for jumping in. Dave says, do you list your wrestling cards manually or can you use Card Dealer Pro? So right now, manually. So I enter, and I'm a pretty fast typer. And this is what I told. So somebody was asking me about Card Dealer Pro at the show yesterday. And I find value, and this is not me. Here, where's my promo code? Since we're going to talk about Card Dealer Pro again, I've got a promo code. Get 500 free scans. Use promo code Cubs. So now I am shilling. But this is true. I wouldn't shill if I didn't believe in the product. And I tell Ted this at Collects, and I tell the guys at Card Dealer Pro and Collects, I'm like, I find value. I don't know if they would find value in a business sense for what I use it for, because I don't think there's too many people that would use it like me. If there was like a discounted version to where there's no AI there's no AI recognition, but it's still hosting your photos and creating a spreadsheet. I think there could be a low cost, and it wouldn't, I don't think, they would have to on the back end figure it out, but I think there's value for a cheaper subscription to do that. I'm not going to use it because I like I'm listing so much that I'm using the AI, but Topps Archives, it doesn't recognize Topps Archives. This is a new product. It's not going to list, but I'll still scan it through and I'll still use their spreadsheet and I'll still use their image hosting. And that's what I do with wrestling cards. So I'll scan 100 wrestling cards and I delete everything it recognizes. And I type in, I go in and I'll change, I'll delete all the titles. I type in the SKU, copy, paste down, titles deleted. Say it's 2023 Topps Heritage. I type in the year, copy, paste, hobby or Topps Heritage, copy, paste, Topps Heritage, copy, paste, WWE, copy, paste, price, copy, paste. That's it. And I go in, I type in 2023 Topps WWE Heritage, #1, The Rock wrestling card. And then there's no team, but on player, it's going to be The Rock. So I'm only typing in the title and The Rock. Descriptions are automated. I already have the description set, and Card Dealer Pro fills all that in for me. So all I'm typing in manually is the title, and under player, whichever wrestler it is. Boom, next. Number 2, The Undertaker, wrestling card. Tab, The Undertaker, return, boom. I think there's value in that. Value Box Digger says, Minnesota Card Show promoter has now expanded to Dakota Card Show. And from social media, it sounds he is not very welcomed in Sioux Falls and Fargo, where there's already shows. That can hurt. That can hurt. YouTube content for the larger channels is boring, but if you look at Jeff, he only represents a portion of the hobby. It's more than buying and selling, chases, hints, collecting, navigating is exciting. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. I'd almost guess he next steps on Wisconsin because he is the one after the money and doesn't care whose toes he steps on. I mean, the customer base will follow where the good shows are. And right now, if someone new starts a show in wherever, it's probably not going to be a great show. You know, timing is everything. If you're starting a show now in certain areas, probably not a wise move, because there's so many established shows, at least in my neck of the woods and in your neck of the woods. Let's see. Ziggy says, amen, Zach. These channels that depend on money for their hobby are seeing a dip, and now their wives are asking, where's the income, right? SCV is entertaining. I don't agree with everything, but I laugh and feel good after watching. Like this show, it keeps me in touch with the hobby vibes. Do you see the big channels hanging out here? I don't think so. SCV. What's SCV? What's SCV? Pro golfer, burnout, pro fisher, right? 3D printing. Let's see. Hey, Rich, how can I get into the gift exchange? I don't do Facebook. There you go. On the other hand, can it be off the top of my head also? Or is there too many in there? One of the aspects with Mike M's Burnout is that in addition to doing all those content shows, he set up at the Dallas show last weekend. And so that there's a business aspect, you know, as a dealer. So I don't think it's hobby burnout in that sense. If the YouTube aspect, if it's because there's less views and less dollars coming in, it's all business. It's not hobby related. I can assure you, having done that show as a vendor, it's a long 4-day process. Even a 2-day show. And I don't like doing multi-day shows. It's tough. Now, on the other side of the table, it's fun. Like the National, I would get burned out setting up at the National because that would suck. I would not want to set up at the National. But I love every second I'm on that floor because I can walk around and do my own thing. I get burned out as a dealer at a monthly yesterday. Like there comes a time where my back's sore from standing, or I'm just standing in the same place. I get the burnout from doing shows, but adding the time behind the table to do to everything else just became his tipping point. I found it funny how bench clear content creators each. Mike is also a representative of a small portion of the hobby. He doesn't do modern, and there are exciting changes in modern. Love or hate? Yes. Yeah, and that's a good point. Like I love some of the modern changes, and I hate some of the modern changes. Let's see. I picked up 3 nice items from his table. All were signed and all were cheap, and I think about 99% certainly all were real. Great local show at the middle school with money going to local girls softball team. I hope we see more local community shows. And I think that's where it's at. Like it doesn't have to, what I'm seeing and what I'm talking about, there's just too many shows. There's too many promoters trying to go for the money and go for these big shows, these multi-day shows, these 100-table shows. I think there's a place for shows. And I think Ziggy nails it right here. A small 10-table show in your high school gym with the proceeds going to your softball team, for your baseball team, for your volleyball team, for your basketball teams, for the band, for the whatever else, the chess club, like fundraisers. Like you come in, you bring them into the gym, and whatever team or organization sets up a concession stand, or they're selling raffle tickets and they're making a little income. And it doesn't have to be, oh, this 100-table card show coming to this town where there's 3 other card shows in 30-minute drive of those shows. But that's where I think that, and that's what I remember as a kid. Like my small 800 people, not a single stoplight in my hometown. We had a community center. They tore it down. Now there's another community center, but it's on the other side of town. Anyway, we had a community center right down, well, we called it uptown, right uptown. And we'd have these little small, like during the hobby boom, 1990, 91, we'd have these little card shows. It's like $10 to rent a table. There'd be 20 tables. And it's all like high school kids and junior high kids setting up tables at the community center. Little local card show with basically all kids from, there were probably some adults from the surrounding communities that would come in. But for the most part, I just remember it was a bunch of kids I went to school with. I think there's definitely room for that stuff. There's not, we're kind of past the tipping point on everybody trying to be the new Dallas. I think everybody was chasing Dallas. Chasing Dallas. That's the behind the music version of card show promotion. Chasing Dallas. Everybody's trying to be the next Dallas. Look what Dallas did. We want to be Dallas. And most will fail. Burbank has a good thing going. That's probably, Nashville. I don't know if Nashville was established or not, but Burbank did it right. Everybody else, you're not going to chase Dallas. There's Low Roller Scratcher. My ComC sale averages 5 to 10 per month. I'm not taking seriously. It's only a hobby. I am doing flipping on ComC. Are you paying taxes, Low Roller Scratcher? Johnny M, good morning. I'm green with envy that you guys have all these card shows. Yeah, and that's what I'm like. And I know the East Coast is. I look at these card shows on the East Coast, $10 admission, 40 tables, $10 admission. I'm like, what the hell? The Midwest is just different. Like we do things so much differently. Free admission, like every show is free admission. I had an interesting conversation with another dealer, and he travels all over. He was telling me about Arkansas. Well, he had questions about Wisconsin and the sales tax ramifications. And he's like, I'm setting up in Arkansas, and they collect my sales tax like at the show. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Arkansas is like, I wouldn't be surprised in 10 years, 5 years, 20 years. Every state's going to be like that. Want a piece of the pie. So we're talking, he's like, because I do free admission in Madison. Next show is Saturday, November 25th, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. Take a drink. He goes, do you think charging admission would hurt your show? I said, no. I mean, a few people would probably be, I don't want to pay $1 to get in. I think a few people would be, they'd reluctantly pay $1. You're going to have a small segment that are probably going to try to sneak in. See, that's why I don't charge admission. There's too many entrances that I can't. I'd have to have 8 volunteers checking every entrance. Actually, I wouldn't need 8. It's so hard because it's a hotel. Like, where do you have? So it's just, it would be not impossible, but very difficult. So would it hurt my show? And I did admission, $1 admission the first 2 shows. No. Like, would a few people not come because it's $1 to get in? Maybe. Like, I don't want to pay $1 to get in. It's a freaking $1. But I get it. Like, every dollar is important. I get it. Would it hurt the show? I don't think it would hurt the show. Would a few less people come? Maybe. I don't think it would hurt the show. Now, if I charge $5 admission, yes. Then it's like, oh, I'm not paying $5 to get in. But that's what's different. Here in the Midwest, it's the only shows that charge admission. A couple do, like Oak Creek does a donation for the Salvation Army, which is where it's held. It's $1. And that's about it. Unless it's a multi-day show. It's even the multi-day show in Rockford Loves Park was $1. Spectacular. It's going to be like 15 next weekend, but it's a huge show. So we can't really get away with charging admission. Where are we at? Let's see. Johnny says, Oh, wait, we already said that. I get one a month the first Saturday. I'm about 60 miles north of NYC. Low Roller says the dealer should lower their prices for $5 to $10 each table. You will get more dealers in the show. I don't need more dealers. I have too many. I have a waiting list. I'm actually raising prices. If any dealer is listening, tuning in, effective January, I haven't released this yet. I will in the Madison Card Show Facebook page today or tomorrow. Rates for tables will be rising in January. My rent has gone up a considerable amount. They've raised my rate each year. I have not raised prices since I started the show in April 2021. So single table prices will stay the same for the Madison Card Show at $50. Two tables will now be $100. So there's not going to be table discounts just because I have a waiting list and I can fill those tables. So if you don't want to pay the extra $20 or $30, there's going to be a slight discount when you do three. I've got a couple guys that are going to be grandfathered in with 4 tables. So 3 tables will be 130. So 1 table will be 50. 2 tables will be 100. 3 tables will be 130. Very small increase. It's just going to be enough to cover the increase in my rent this year. So if you're a dealer, set up at the Madison Card Show. And the funny thing is most people, when I say it's one table is $50, they're like, so 2 is 100. They're like, yeah, I'll pay $100 for 2 tables. And it's not like there's a lot of people coming in. Like if there comes a time where, and there will come a time where there's going to be less and less dealers, less and less customers at card shows. We're just not there. And, I kind of fought the battle, and I had a conversation with my wife. What do I do? Fighting inflation is a losing battle. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to white knight and try to fight inflation. Well, they're raising my prices, but I'm going to Robin Hood and give back or whatever and not concede to inflation. But this is a business, and I've done that the last 2 years. I've, made less profit, and this is the biggest increase I've seen. I've got to pass it on. So I do have to pass it on. So that is unfortunate, but it is the way it is. Let's see. Uncle Rich says, when I was running monthly shows, I was always fine with the early birds. Heck yeah, I'll take the money. Good morning, JW. What's up? Always watch you on my TV, so I don't chat too much. I have to get on my phone to do that. I do the same. A lot of, if I'm in the rec room and somebody's on live, I will, I'll watch it. If I'm watching on the rec room TV, I'll have to get my phone out and type in the chat. Appreciate that. With some exceptions, the day was pretty much done by 1 to 2 p.m. and we drifted to 4. Jody says, depending on the month, we have 3 to 4 in the Tampa area between 3 promoters, and they are all on different weekends. They all cross promote for each other. And that's great. Love to hear that. We've got a group of promoters here that we promote each other's shows. And I think you're going to catch, what's the old saying? You're going to catch more with honey than whatever. I don't know what that saying is, but when you work together, we're not competing, and we're trying to, I'm not going to step on Tony's toes in Oak Creek. I'm not going to run the first weekend of the month. Sometimes Mike and John and I, sometimes there's been maybe once or twice we've had to run on the same weekend, but we try to work it out, and we communicate. We text back like, hey man, this is the only date I can get. I've got to run a show, and I've got to run it, unfortunately on the same weekend. That happens, but we help each other out. We set up at each other's shows. We go to each other's shows. We promote. So it's great when you work together. It only helps. It helps each individual. It helps each promoter if you're willing to help each other out. Let's see. If the dealer can't make money on the card show, they can set up a card show in the flea market or a yard sale or garage sale. That's another option. I do the same thing for non-AI cards. I cut and paste the player and team from Cardboard Connections using 2 monitors. Oh, I like it. Taking it a step further. Dual monitors. Let's see. Cooter says Dallas every 2 months is too much. Burbank's schedule is better to maintain interest and excitement. I don't know what Burbank does, but I think a big quarterly. I mean, yeah, back 2 years ago, every 2 months there was demand for it. I don't think there's I can't speak because I haven't been to the Dallas Card Show, but it's probably getting to the point where every 2 months, with other bigger shows starting to also take place, that were established a couple of years ago. I think some of these Johnny come latelys within the last year are a little too late, but Burbank nailed it. I think Nashville nailed it. I think there's another show that started up since COVID that is also kind of a go-to. But yeah, I think quarterly. I think a quarterly show would work for them. But hey, the thing is, if Kyle down in Dallas is still filling tables and there's still people flying in and going to the show spending money, like, are you going to contract? No. Let's see. Free admission will get more people to the card show. Yes, I agree with that. It was funny pre-pandemic, and granted it was December, but my lowest admission show each year was the monthly December show. That is interesting because that has, let's see. Well, I've only done one December show because I did not do a December show in 2021. I did a December show last year, and it was one of my higher attended shows for the year. I'm trying to think. Probably, I think this past January and February were the highest attended shows since I started in April 2021. January of 2023, February of 2023, my Madison Card Show's highest attended shows. The November show, and I mean, most of the shows are, there's some down months. May is tough because it's Memorial Day weekend. Some of the summer months can be tough. July is a good show. It may not get as much traffic, but the traffic that's there is spending money because they are buying inventory to take to the National, because I schedule it the week before the National. My November show, running at the Saturday of Thanksgiving, typically is a really good show. People are excited to get out. They're willing to spend money because it's Black Friday weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, get away from the family. By Saturday, they're ready to get out, spend some money. And I always had giveaways for those shows as well. I need to do more of that. I've only done that a couple times. I need to do more of that. Collector's Dream, what's up? Good morning. Let's see. Collector's Dream went to Palm Beach. Very busy. Jeff Wilson's team had a booth and we're buying heavy. Very nice. Big Harv's in the house. What's up, Harv? Good. Happy Sunday to you. Happy weekend. Showtime in the house. A lot of shows have died off. More established shows have lived on, a la Madison and Oak Creek. Too many card shows are not a good thing. I completely agree with that. All about relationships in the hobby. Absolutely. Absolutely. And like we just mentioned earlier about some of the, if it's like a fundraiser for the high school basketball team in the local gym, 10, 20 tables, like that's kind of like your old VFW shows, your old Legion Hall shows, just small shows. Some of the local guys are there. But once it gets to, 70, 80 tables, 100 tables and on up, it's starting to get overkill. Well, it started a while ago, about a year ago. A lot of people just trying to cash in with those monies, but the strong will survive. There's so many shows here. You can pick and choose when and where you can go so you don't get burned. Yeah. I mean, there's, depending on how far you want, like yesterday, from me, within like 3 hours, and I think that's a fair drive. I know I had two buddies who were at my table yesterday. One drove 2 hours from the south. One drove 2 hours from the north to go to Rockford. And, here I'm in Madison. I had Rockford, which is just an hour drive. That's where I was set up. I go a couple hours, into, I think, Darien or Bridgeview had a show yesterday, which is about 2 to 2.5 hours. Milwaukee, hour and a half to West Allis, there was a show. Mosinee, which I think is 2 hours maybe from me. If I go out west to Minnesota, there were 4 shows in Minnesota yesterday. So within 3 hours, that's what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shows within a 3-hour drive, if not more. There's might have been an Iowa show somewhere yesterday. I see the same dudes with the same cards with the same prices. I don't get this. Please adapt to the times. And those are the guys that at the end of the show say, I didn't do very well. Well, you had the same stuff. It didn't sell last month. What made you think it was going to sell this month? You're going to have, at every show, you're going to have a similar customer base. Customer base doesn't really change. You see a lot of the same faces at the same shows that are customers. So as a dealer, you have to adapt, like Showtime says. Adapt price-wise or inventory-wise. If it's not moving, it's not moving. Either lower the prices or get new stuff out there. Let's see. Dallas show is slowed down for sure, but it's still the best show in the country besides the National. I also like the Burbank show, but Cali is pricey for me. Dallas. And you bring up a great point about that. Burbank's probably a great Burbank is probably, and of course I haven't been to either, so I can't really comment on this, but even if Burbank was a better show than Dallas, just from a show standpoint, if you're here in the Midwest or on the East Coast, traveling to Burbank is a lot more expensive than getting to Dallas. I mean, it's significantly more expensive to travel. So you already have a lot more overhead if you're going out to Burbank. Big Harp says Burbank is twice a year, but technically has only had 3 shows total. The person that was actually running it just left. So see what, I did not know that. That's interesting. Let's see. TD Sports Cards in the house. Low Roller says selling 25 cents to $1 each card is recession proof. I don't agree with that. You can't lose money at all. Okay. There's a lot of falsehoods in that comment. Let's just move on. Jeff's Card Journey. Darien, Illinois show is December 9th. Looking forward to going to that show. 100 tables. So was yesterday's show in Bridgeview? Was that yesterday's show? I know there was a show somewhere in the Chicago area yesterday. Uncle Rich says Burbank will continue. Oh yeah. Rob will make sure Burbank continues on. A lot of the same stuff from the same dealers at the local shows. If I see they have all basketball and football, Mosaic or Prism, I don't even stop to look. And that's the thing. And I try to tell dealers that comment about, I just didn't do well out of my, if it's bargain boxes, because that's where I'm digging. I tell Matt, 5-star, I'm like, you haven't updated your dollar boxes in 6 months. Like, I don't even look anymore. And if he puts new stuff, guess what I do? I look and I buy. So, and I know it's tough. Like, hey, sometimes I don't update my stuff. And guess what? When I don't update my bargain boxes, I sell less cards. I make less money. But whose fault is it? It's mine. Just like trying to order a flavored soft drink. It's my fault. Using the wrong term. So if you keep it fresh, what's our buddy up in Manitowoc say? Keep her moving. Why set up a table when the market keeps coming down and you keep losing money in what you just bought in the last 2 weeks, even buying at 50 to 60% right now, you can lose money. Why set up at the table when the market keeps coming down? Well, you can still make money, depending on what you're buying. Like, here's the thing. This is what, 2023. Take a look at, just grab 10 random cards, of course, that came out before 2018. Take a look at what they're selling for today or in the last 30 days. Compare that to a year ago. Compare that to 2 years ago. And you're going to go, oh my God, the market is down. Now compare that price to 2020 and 2019 and 2018. And you're going to be like, holy shit, the market still has a long way to drop. If you think this is down, just wait a couple of years. It's going to go down further. If you were around before 2020, it can get a lot worse. You go back even further. 2018 was still pretty high in the hobby. And I told this story. I've told this story before. A buddy of mine got back in the hobby in 2018 or 2019. He bought a Kobe. The hell did he buy? He bought some Kobe card. I think he bought it in Chantilly, actually. And he paid $50 for it in 2018 or 2019. In 2021, he sold it for $1,000, right? A couple of years prior, he sold it for $50, or he bought it for $50. Sold it for $1,000. And I go, how much does it sell for now? I bet it sells for more than 50. Mark, share your story. And I probably have the numbers a little wrong, but look at the market. Mark in Chantilly paid, I think you said $50 for that Kobe card. You sold it for $1,000, and I could be getting the numbers confused, but it's still worth 400, 300, 500. Oh shit. Sold it for $3K and you bought it for $50, right? And what's it sell for now? Like, even if it's 500, yeah, it's come down, but in 2018 it was 50. I think we have to remember that. And prior to 2018, 2012, it was like brutal. Ask Uncle Rich. There's still a long way to go down. And we have a better chance of going down than we do going back up to where we were a couple years ago. So why do I set up a table if the market keeps coming down? Because I keep making money. As long as I keep making money, when I stop making money, I'll stop selling cards and I'll go back to work in the office. But guess what? There were people selling cards full-time in 2012, in 2002, in 1997. There were still people selling cards and making a living when the market was a 10th or a 20th or maybe even a 50th of where it is right now. It's simple. Business is simple, whether it's selling baseball cards, whether it's selling mugs, whether it's selling services. Like I worked in logistics. If you buy low and sell high, you can still put food on the dinner table. That's what it's all about. There's still money to be made. And in a down market, there's more opportunities to buy. And you can buy at a fraction, and you can still, maybe the margins aren't where they were in 2021, 2022, but you can still make good money. That's why I do it. If that stops happening, I'll stop doing it. I'll go back to the office. Let's see. Uncle Rich says, what DFW is underserved with, we have none, is the monthly 40 to 50 table show at a hotel. And that's what we've probably had this conversation. I've had the conversation with other people. Maybe there's just not, and I don't know the rental, but I know it's hard to find. And a lot of people don't understand how difficult it is to find spaces that are affordable for what you're doing with a card show that have tables that you don't have to go rent. It is very difficult to find something. Fortunately, we found the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive that was affordable, that has tables for a small premium. I pay them to set them up, and it's hard to find that. That's what a lot of people do. Well, why don't you have it? This is a big space. Well, you know, it costs $5,000, $10,000. The Alliant Energy Center, $40,000. If I'm paying $10,000 at this hotel, they only have 50 tables. Do the math on that. How am I going to make any money? I'm not. I'm going to lose money. And if I charge you X amount per table, you're probably going to lose money. Let's see. I think one of those shows with 40 to 50 tables and $2 to $3 admissions would do well. Collector's Dream says a local monthly show does well. 40 to 50 tables, free admission, free parking. Let's see. Most people turn their cards over in 2021 already. So anything you bought a year ago, you're taking a loss. This has been going on, so it's how much of a loss you're willing to take. I mean, it depends on what you're buying. What I'm buying I haven't taken a loss on what I bought. There's probably some stuff. You know, some of the stuff in my PC, I've taken a loss. That's why you have to be smart. Like, we have officially reached the end of you selling cards easily. It never should have been that easy. It never should have been easy to where you can list 100 1986 Topps Commons for $1.50 with free shipping and sell half of them in a month. That should have never happened. It did. I took advantage of it. Others took advantage of it. You can't do that anymore. You can. You're not going to make any money. You can still list them. They're going to sit on eBay. Now it's back to normal, somewhat. Now it's back to normal to where you actually have to be smart, and you have to not just smart business-wise, but smart in what you're buying and what you're selling, realizing what's not selling so you don't buy what you're going to lose money on. Now there's strategy involved, like every other business. Now you have to be a smart business person. It's not just, oh, I'm going to buy $100 worth of cards and sell them for $500 on eBay. It's just that easy. It's not easy anymore. It never should have been easy, but it was. And many of us took advantage of that. Now we've got to be smart with what we buy and with what we sell. You will always be able to buy low and sell high. If you find the right sellers, if you're looking, there's always an opportunity. There is always an opportunity in cards to buy low and sell high, always. And if you're not finding those, you're not looking hard enough, or you're looking in the wrong places. Always room to make money selling trading cards, really selling anything. If you know what you're doing. Showtime says, I move more cards to people I know versus someone I don't. Nailed it. Build those relationships, get to know people. You can move cards easily if you just get into a conversation. Absolutely. The biggest keys to why I have success selling bargain box cards at card shows is A, I typically replenish the inventory. So I have new stuff. And what does that attract? Somebody comes up, oh, wow, you've got good bargain boxes. So they come back a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And now they're regulars. And I'm selling to those. When I make less money and I talked to another bargain box dealer, did not have a good, I said everybody that I talked to had a good day. One guy did not have a good day, bargain boxes. And he's like, but a regular that I was counting on coming wasn't able to make it today. When I have bad shows as a seller at a card show, it's mainly because my regulars don't show up, or I'm at a different show that I've never been to. There was an exception when I did the St. Charles show. It was mostly, I had quite a few regulars that came, but I had a lot of new, because I was in a new territory that I'd never been, never set up in my bargain boxes. So I got to make sure I bring new stuff, good stuff. So when I see them a second time, they'll come back a third time and a fourth, fifth, sixth. What happens though is sometimes people with bargain boxes get lazy. And I'm just as guilty. You get lazy, you run out of time, you're doing other stuff, you're doing eBay, or maybe you've got a family and a job, and it's just set third, not even secondary, but it's down the list of priorities to get your bargain boxes replenished for the next card show. You bring the same stuff. You were at card show A, and you brought this inventory. Hey, you did really well. You made 5 guys really happy with what you had in your bargain boxes. So they're going to come back to you in month 2. And they see the same stuff they passed a month ago. And they're like, oh, I'm disappointed. They may not give you a shot in month 3 when you had that opportunity to snag them in. So they would come back month 3, 4, and 5. Sometimes you may get month 1, month 2, month 3. You've got great stuff. They're happy. Month 4, maybe month 4 is when you take a month off. You may have already hooked them in. But just make sure if you do a new card show, and this is coming from bargain, and this probably applies to showcase stuff as well, or sealed wax, whatever you're selling. I'm sure similar principle applies. You're setting up at a new card show, make sure to continue bringing new inventory so you can hook in your customers so they're willing to come back and give you business month after month, because you can lose them if you don't replenish your inventory, especially in bargain boxes. And that's my specialty. That's what I know, both as a buyer and a seller. There's guys with bargain boxes that set up at my show, in Oak Creek, in Rockford, wherever, that I just don't look at their bargain boxes. I know what they have. I know that they're going to have common Mike Trout cards that are 20-cent cards. They're going to have those in their dollar boxes, and I'm not going to pay. But I know the next guy is going to have $10 cards in his $5 box, or $5 cards in his dollar box. And then I'm going to go buy a whole bunch and I'm going to get a bargain box volume discount and get them for even less. I'll get them for 75 cents a card and I'll sell them for $5. Those are the guys that I go back to. And those are the guys that make more money selling their bargain boxes. You may ask, well, how are they doing it? Guess what? They're probably buying them for 50 cents. They know that I can sell these for 75 cents. Talked to a guy in when I did Comic-Con in May. He in Uncle Rich is actually friends with him. Autographs, and I'm pulling out and I'm like, okay, I know I can probably get $5 to $10 per autograph on these cards. What's the lowest he's willing to go? And I think he went down to $2.50. He's like, and that's I think he's buying them for $1 to $1.50. So he knows he can get $1 profit. If I'm buying 600 cards, that's $600 profit for him. And I can make $5, $10, what I paid $2.50 for. Yeah, if I'm only selling it for $5 after fees and stuff, it's a pretty small margin, but I'm banking on pulling those. And there were some $20, $30 autographs in there, which helps make up for the ones. And I still have a bunch sitting in my boxes, but I also sold a bunch for $30 or $40. And if they're sitting now, I've got a bunch of those autographed letter things. And those can be hot. Sometimes somebody wants, oh, hey, you've got 3 letters that I need. I've got them for $15 or best offer. And I'm at the point where I've got to ship those bubble mailers. So $10, they've been sitting since May in my store. I'll take $10. It's small, but hey, I know what I have in them. Paid $2.50 for it. Even at $10 shipped, I'm losing $4. So $6, $4, I'm making $1, $1.50 profit. But profit is profit. I'd like to make that profit faster than 6 months. $1 after 6 months, that's not good. That's, I'm looking to turn and burn, but, doesn't always work that way, especially in a declining market. Let's see, where are we at? Stop trying, make every transaction just a transaction. You can learn so much from just opening a convo. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a regular buyer who I am now like guaranteed to make $100 every time because he digs through my bargain boxes and we developed a relationship and he's set up at my show once in the past. He's more of a buyer, but he's like, I want to set up at your show. We had a conversation. He comes back, he goes through my boxes and he's like, you know what? I'm looking for these players. And he's like, here's what I pay for them. And it's like, and sometimes the market shifts and it's like, he's paying 20 cents for Ohtani. It's like, well, I can get more than that. I'm not going to sell Ohtani for 20 cents, but I'll sell Bo Bichette for 20 cents. And he's got prices on other stuff that it's like, yeah, I know it's easy money to sell these players at his prices. And right now I've got like $80, $90 worth of cards for him. And I'll see him probably in Madison. So hopefully I'll have even more for him by that time, by the time comes that the Madison Card Show on the 25th. And you develop these relationships. There was a guy from the East Coast that showed up at one of my card shows digging through my boxes. And I consider Tom Coleman a friend from just having conversations. Like, this guy is fun to talk to because we were just, he's telling me about his oddball collection. And that's the type of relationships. I've met so many friends from being on that side of the table, developing relationships, having conversations. If you're this guy and look unapproachable, people probably aren't going to come to your table. If you're sitting down playing Candy Crush, how are you going to have a conversation? Now, do I sit on my phone sometimes? Yes. But I try to, if people are walking to my table, I try to engage with them. There are some people that are outgoing and that want to talk and have conversations. Then there are others that I can almost immediately tell this guy doesn't want to talk. That's okay. I recognize that. I exchange pleasantries. Is there anything you're looking for? Typically, no. But they might. Yeah, I'm looking for Greg Maddux. Okay, I don't have any Cubs, but I've got some Braves. Hey, no worries. No worries. Bronco was there. Hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks in Madison. Here's a cheat code, and this one is free. Pokemon is fire. Be willing to learn. And this is where I'm very stubborn. I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn Pokemon. Showtime, I talked about this in a previous video. Hey, as long as I have stuff to talk, I'll keep going. 24 hours. 24 hours. So Pokemon is on fire. And I went through and I actually did. I don't know if I shared this on the video, but I'm like, there's probably 40% of dealers that are Pokemon at the Madison Card Show. It's actually closer to 20%, at least based on the October numbers. About 20% Pokemon dealers or TCG with, and I know other guys carry not just Pokemon, but other stuff as Magic and some of the other TCG. And I know there's some guys that are like, I don't want to go to a sports card show and see Pokemon. Guess what? This isn't a sports card show. This is a card show. And if people are coming out and want to sell and want to buy and trade Pokemon, come on out. And I get more and more. The more and more new dealers I'm getting to the Madison Card Show, and I've already got a list of almost a dozen first-time dealers for the November show in 2 weeks. Do I have that banner? Let's flash that banner before we end today's show. Long show. Saturday, November 25th, Thanksgiving weekend. And a few of them are Pokemon. I'm seeing more and more new dealers are Pokemon and TCG. The guys that are falling out are sports cards guys. And some of the guys that are falling out don't replenish their inventory, don't change their prices, or don't have prices on their cards. Oh, I only did X amount of sales. Well, you had the same stuff last month. If you only made X amount last month, the chances are you're going to make even less this month. Let's see. I'm going to stay until there's no more new comments, and we're getting toward the end. Tom says, kind of surprised to not see any comic book dealers at the Madison show. That is kind of surprising. I've had a few inquiries over the 2.5 years, but I don't know if I've ever had a true dealer that only had comic books. I think there are, though, Tom. I think there are comic book shows in Madison. I do know the Sheraton on John Nolan Drive had a comic book show sometime last year, and they used my layout because my layout was, I created the layout for my show, and they used that layout for the comic book show. And I think they said it wasn't a very successful event. I don't know if that's just based on how it was promoted. I don't know if that's because there's not a market for that here. I don't know if there was admission, that could turn people. I don't know what the dynamics were, but apparently it was, and I don't think they've done another one, but I have seen Facebook ads for various comic book shows in the area. But yeah, you're right. I am surprised that a comic book dealer or a comic book collector has not, because if you're the only one there, and if somebody, I feel there's cross pollination of comic book collectors and sports card or TCG collectors. I feel like there's some type of there. I'm sure in that room, there's got to be a small segment of men and women that are also into comic books. And I'm surprised not somebody has not tried that just to give her a whirl. I'd be open to it. If there's interest on both sides of the spectrum, not just dealers, but also customers that come in. And I think that kind of, works itself out. If there's no customers, the dealer's not going to come back. I didn't make any money. I didn't sell a single thing. I'm probably not going to come back. But if they make some sales and all of a sudden, that's how Pokemon, I didn't know Pokemon existed in 2021. I mean, I did, but I didn't know there were dealers. I just thought Pokemon, you just went and you bought it at Target and that's it. You went home and played, whatever you do. I didn't know there were actually like dealers, like sports cards. And all of a sudden it's like, well, there were two dealers, 3 dealers. And all of a sudden, well, we did really good on Pokemon and word spreads. Now there's a bunch. Tom says there's a regular show in Northern Virginia that's half comic, half sports. Interesting. Mark says, I found comics easy to figure out. Pokemon is like rockets. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Because, yeah, I had acquired a box of bulk Pokemon, like a shoebox. I didn't know what it was. They had like prices like $3 per pack, which I think was overpriced. So I counted up the packs and I'm like, I'll do $80 at the big 2-day show in Loves Park. Not a single bite. I had a couple people like, it's all crap. I ended up doing a trade, like garbage junk wax sports cards for my garbage Pokemon. And then I did have like I think it was on top of the shoebox, there was like a card, like a shiny card. And one of my Pokemon dealers says, is it fake? And I'm like, I don't know. Is it like a expensive card? He's like, no, it's like a $3 or $4 card. And I'm like, well, then why would it be fake? And so he starts telling me that there's fake $3 Pokemon cards. I'm like, what? That's insanity. Sure enough, he's like, can I rip it? And I'm like, I don't care. Ripped it. And sure enough, because I guess there's a line if it's real, something like that. He's like, yeah, this is a fake. I'm like, wow, a $3 fake Pokemon card. So there you go. 24-hour stream. We're still going. I would be surprised if I saw comic books at a card show. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm actually surprised I don't see more. I'm actually surprised I don't see, like Tom said, I'm surprised there's not like, and I'm not talking like a strictly, I guess I should kind of, I'm not saying like strictly comic book. I would be surprised to see a comic book only table at a card show. But I don't even see like a card dealer with comic books. Like I'm surprised I don't see comic books. Like I'm surprised there's not a vendor that has like a box of comic books on the table. I'm surprised by that. I would be surprised if I had a comic book only dealer that only had comic books. Tom says, I haven't bought a single Funko Pop, got burned by starting lineups in McFarlane figures. Yeah, I did not go down the Funko Pop rabbit hole either. Rich says there are a decent amount of comics at the Dallas Card Show. Okay. All right. So I have worn out my welcome. Over 2 hours. This might be one of the longest streams in the history of Hobby Evolution. So thank you for some great chat about card shows today. Rockford Card Show yesterday. Great show. Looking forward to next weekend. I'm on a run. Next Saturday, I'll be walking the floor, digging through bargain boxes at the Chicago Sports Spectacular at the Donald Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont. And then the following Saturday, Thanksgiving weekend, the 25th of November, you can find us at the Madison Card Show on John Nolan Drive at the Sheraton Hotel. Mark says, keep going. How about we just go out for beers this week? Hobby Evolution After Dark. Coming to you live from the Village Green in downtown Middleton. So let's get beers this week, Mark. How can anyone be burnout when they can ramble for 2 hours plus, right? Now I got to go ship. I did have kind of a crappy eBay sales day yesterday, so a little less than I was hoping for to ship today. Let's see. To me personally, I see comics as a complete different hobby than cards. If I sold comics, I wouldn't expect buyers of them to attend a card show. I think there's probably some cross-pollination. I would assume most people are one or the other, but I bet there's some people that do both. So if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Come see me at the Madison Card Show in 2 weeks, November 25th, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. Maybe I'll run into you in Rosemont next Saturday. We'll be back live tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. Have a great Sunday. Watch some football. We'll see you Monday morning.